Hey everybody, welcome back to AC Auto Carts. Hey, remember about a year ago we had this cart on here? We repainted the front nose and I said this. Me and the other boys are trying to talk this owner into a lift. So we'll see what happens with that. Someday it's coming. Well, today is the day. We are going to finally put a very cheap $45 lift kit on this and a hand-me-down set of wheels. Let's get rolling. All right, so we affectionately named this cart Old Blue because it's a 98 G16. This is one of the original carts that we bought for the neighborhood. Not a whole lot of fanciness going on. It does have underglow. It has had a rough spring. It burnt up a wiring and killed itself. So we spent a few hours rewiring, and I got a few photos of that we can push in here. And then it stopped running, or no, it wasn't. It didn't stop running. It stopped. It was leaking gas. So it ended up getting a fresh carburetor, and that seems to have fixed everything. And I was really reluctant to put a Amazon carburetor in this because I was worried about it running correctly. And it woke it right up, and it's flying down the road now. It's never run better for us. So all we did was throw it in, no adjustment, and it ran. So Edwin's here, Mike is here. This is Mike's cart, and the hand-me-down wheels are going to be Edwin's wheels.
Old ones.
Edwin's old wheels, because he just upgraded to these mods wheels. And the other thing that he upgraded was this canvas top, which we are slowly falling in love with. Well, he's in love with it. I'm pretty in love with it too, especially for the price. How much was this top?
Yeah. I think the way it looks. Awesome.
How much was the top?
About 150.
150. So he had the regular factory top that was the original Yamaha one, and it was in really tough shape. So this thing is working out nice. He's done a lot of work to this cart recently with lighting and so forth. So we'll probably go over that. But he bought those wheels, and we're going to get that onto Mike's today. So the other thing that we're going to do, so here's the lift. We'll unpack this. And these are kingpins. If you saw the last time I had this cart on video, it needed kingpins. So we'll do that too today. So I mentioned the spindle, and this pin wants nothing to do with coming out. So we're not really going to cover what we did here because it's completely incorrect. But I just slammed the top one down in there because the pieces literally fell out. And then I did the same thing with this here. I shoved that one up in there. Hopefully that'll last. We'll keep an eye on it, but the play is out of it. So I think that's what we're going to do. Edwin's working on the other side right now. Maybe we can get that pin out of the other side, but I actually broke off a piece of the punch in there. So, and then I tried to drill it a little bit to see if I can get a little bit of that punch out, and it didn't want to come. So that is why we just said, yeah, let's go with this. And yeah, I know it's not right, but all right, we're moving on. Lift. So instructions. I guess this is the stuff for the back. All of this is now front and a bunch of hardware. So we're going to get poking around at that now. We'll follow you guys. We'll bring you guys along for that.
So
Give me the tutorial.
That's the one piece that we have for the front shock.
Uh-huh.
And then these two are those little back pieces.
Oh yeah, I got you.
So there's a screw here, this one here, and obviously
and then that's the adjustability one.
Yeah, because there's nothing on the top. So we take
So
the
do we have to do anything with the lowers?
Here.
Oh, the lower control arms all have to come down.
Yes, and then we have the plates for here and here.
Okay, the centers.
And then those little spacers that we have,
yeah,
they go in the top portion here.
Okay, so yeah, we got to take the front bumper and all that other stuff off.
Okay.
All right, a couple minutes later, you got to remove all those guys. You got to disconnect the shock mount. We're going to have to drill a very specific 25/64 hole. Okay, fine. We'll figure that out. And then basically bolt the rest of this stuff up. There's these little spacers. I think the spacers go here. And I'll be back with you when we figure that out. All right. Loose in, but it's kind of the idea. Just had to drill those holes here with those clamps on the back. There's a little bit of an adjustment, but once I bolted that in, there's no adjustment there. You'd have to, if you wanted to raise it up further, you'd have to drill another hole further down. Edwin's is all the way up, so that's how I'm doing this one. All right, that's it. Front isn't done. Just bolt that bumper back on and throw some wheels on it.
You.
Thanks for all the help.
I appreciate it. I think you're doing a great job.
Okay, future adjustment needed because Edwin's has always been pitched and this one is still pitched, so we got to lower that shock mount a little bit to get it to sit where we want, but we're going to ride it a little bit. So started working on the rear. I need to disconnect the upper shock bolts, those two, and then the sway bar mount, which is this here, and essentially just throw these extenders in and the extender for the sway bar mount. So we're going to be working on that. All right, so we're back here working on the rear, and this has been the story of the rear end. This is the sway bar extension, and see how it's just not completely lined up? That's basically what's been going on. Now this goes to the back, and I'm only using this as a example, but that's what we were dealing with these extension pieces that go in right here. I had to hog those out, and but those are in, and we'll get this rear end up. We'll get those shocks up into those extensions, and then the rear is done. But we have definitely been battling it just to get those in. This cart actually did already have a small lift on it, which was these little blocks here, and that was it. So we're getting there. We're almost done. All right, Mike left with the test drive. I think he's liking it. I'm gonna clean up, and then I'm probably gonna call it a day for today. So the following day, the big issue I have is just that wheel is pitched way out. So it looks really weird coming down the road. Thought about I might try to look at this spacer to see if we can drop it down, but the kit, the instructions were measure 3 1/4 down. That is where this bolt hole is. Really, you want to go higher, at least for this application, right? And the other thing is there's a bit of a notch in those. They're sitting on the notch, so I already have it as high as it'll go. So I'm gonna have to pop those mounts back off, and I think what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna take the grinder and grind down a little bit so this can go up just a hair more. Again, arguably, I'm gonna look at this little spacer too. Edwin doesn't have those on his, so maybe if I can just get that spacer out, it'll drop this enough. So 14 millimeter for all those bolts. We'll pop that back off. See if I can get this to sit a little bit more flush. So this is how much I just cut off. Ground a little bit so it pokes itself up inside of that channel. This is not touched yet, so we'll see if that works. Also, here's a look at that shock. I cleaned it up a little bit. They're really, if I take this spacer out, I'm pretty sure the spring is just going to go through. So we're going to leave that in, and that's why I'm dealing with the mounts instead. Okay. So that is much straighter. I'm satisfied with that. It's sitting on the weight of the tire, but I have the shock out of that one. So it's still loose. I didn't put both bolts in yet. I just have the one, and we have some adjustability there. There's still that second bolt that goes under there. We will wait till we get the other side in, put some weight on it before I nail down that second hole, because that second hole is what's going to lock it in. So we'll get the adjustments done and then do that. So I'm going to go cut the other one, install it, and we'll see. I probably should spray it. I'll spray it down with a little paint too. All right, well, I had them in there. I needed to adjust them back down. It was too low. So then I adjusted them back down, jumped on the cart to make sure the suspension sat, and did this. So now I get to go straighten these back out. And the reason for that is because I didn't have the lower bolts in. So don't put any weight on this, any significant weight, or jump on it with your own weight. without those lowers in. Got to have both. I think I'm going with this. It looks pretty even. If anything, when the full weight is on it, I think they're gonna tip in a little bit, but. So what we'll do is, I'm just gonna bring it back in. I'll pop this out. I don't have it attached or anything. We'll drill that lower and put that last screw in. So at the end of the day, I just cut a little bit off and just notched out a little bit here just to scoot it up a tiny bit. And that was enough. I didn't have to go that crazy. But that's where we're at. So yeah, those just fell out right in my hand. Obviously that wasn't the right way to do it. So we will be addressing that soon. I don't know how to get those pins out. Like I mentioned earlier, they broke right off. My punch broke right off. So I'll figure something out on that soon. All right, everybody. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode, or today's video. $45 lift kit. Did it do the job we needed? Yeah. Do I feel like a bit of a hack putting this one in? Yeah, I think I do. A couple too many holes drilled. There's too many holes hogged out, but it's in and seems to be doing really well on this trail, out in this field. So I think we're going to be fine. This thing will go wherever we need it to go now. So we will catch you on that next one coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Probably fix that belt.